luxury goods market by 2030. It is not happened already. There's a lot of visitors, as I say, we visit Harrods and Hamleys, everywhere and anywhere. And Harrods, I don't know if you know that, would even close for business to let them just shop in leisure. And there are others as well. Yeah. And since March of this year, London has replaced Singapore as the second largest Chinese currency clearing center. I've just mentioned that. So Singapore will be the other one. Yeah, we move on. Now, last year we had President Xi's so-called Super State visit in October 2015. And you can ask me the question, where were you, Mr. Chen? I will tell you later during the visit. At the recent G20 meeting in Hangzhou of China, I'm sure you're aware of that, a couple of months ago, our Prime Minister, so this is the very latest, I update my presentation all the time, our new Madam Prime Minister committed Britain to become the global leader in free trade. Now, free trade, of course, is something that the Prime Minister has been promoting. For me, I don't think it's not that straightforward. Because what happened to the balance of payments between different nations? I may want to free trade with you, UK, but my perhaps export to you, let's say just give a figure, it's 10 billions. And you can only generate 5 billion. So what is free trade? You still have a deficit, isn't it? You still owe me a lot. So we have to wait and see about that. But China is committed to the environment and green finance. I'm sure you're aware of the Paris Agreement on the environment. America has signed up to it. I believe we'll sign up to it, and China signed up to it as well. And it is terrible because I do visit China quite frequently. It's terrible in the sense that on one of my recent trips, from where I was leaving to the airport, it was about an hour, 50 minutes of journey by taxi, and there's no sun. No sunlight at all. As soon as the airplane flies further up, there is sun. What is that? Smog. Terrible. Because of industrialization. And I feel very sorry for the local population because they don't get to see the sun. And we all know that sun is very important for children's growth, for our good health and happiness as well. Right. A UK Minister for Asia is an Asian chap, Alok Sharma. He has visited China already. He's been to Beijing, Shenzhen, and Guangzhou. So, have I been all this? Yeah, I've been to all these cities. But if you haven't been, the opportunities lies there as well, I can assure you. And if you look at your computer or your telephone, and most of the electronic equipment that you order, either from eBay or Amazon, you may thought you pay in pounds, obviously. Yeah, but I can assure you, the parcel you receive usually, the product inside will be from China, if not some of the components. And UK exports to China have grown by 57% since 2010. So the golden era, which is this year, we're just towards the end of the first year of the golden era, which means 10 years. So there's still a lot of opportunities there. And last but not least, China will be UK's second largest foreign investors by 2020. So it's not that long. And another 4 years we will achieve that. Thank you. Now, population, how many? It's a huge, large population. How many?
1.5 billion, 1.6 billion. 1.5, 1.6 billion.
Not yet, until someone jumped the gun and have more babies. It's
1.3.
1.3
1.2.
billion.
1.1 billion.
1.1. Now there's at least 2 point something billion missing there. You can click that one. 1.37, nearly 1.4. Yeah, and that was 2015's estimate. And of course, since the 60s, I believe it started the 60s, because the large number of population, the then government, of course, asked people to have one child, one family. But that restriction has now been removed, so people can have 2. You know, China's diversity. How many ethnic groups are there in China alone? I'm not talking about migrants, just ethnic groups in China.
26.
26. No, have a guess.
50. 50?
50.
More than 100, maybe.
How big?
No. No. And the answer is
85?
no.
70?
56. 56. But we are talking about people who were actually considered as Chinese, but from different diverse ethnic groups in there. They have different costumes sometimes, and etc. They have different practice, different cultural backgrounds. Now, the largest city in China, anyone?
Shanghai?
Shanghai.
Shanghai, yes. 32.
Is even bigger than Hong Kong. Okay, much bigger than Hong Kong. Now, and the first paper money created in China when?
Tang Dynasty 650.
650,
50.
650.
Maybe 6.
Much earlier than in the 7th century. It's more or less right. More or less right. Yes, 1,400 years ago. Right. So that is why when all different nations, so-called democratic nations, try to lecture China, and China would just say that, well, we are the civilized nation. Okay? And you talk about democracy and all that, and we all know that what happened to democracy in America, isn't it? Even though Mrs. Clinton has got 2 million more votes, but because of the electoral college, it's not one person, one vote, isn't it? Unlike here. And it's still not one person, one vote, because you never vote for the current Prime Minister. Sorry about that, okay? Right, next one. The currency is known as renminbi. Right, that's right. And it's about 1 to 10, and actually it would come down a little bit now. Right, thank you. Right, China's current GDP ranks in the world second, and as a matter of fact, as I've been told, as far as production is concerned, the amount we produce should be the first. But of course there are other factors which comes into this calculation as well. It's national sport. Don't give it up, okay?
Table tennis, karate.
I think so.
Japan, that is. Table tennis.
Table
tennis. And later on, I will show you a picture of a sport, and you have to guess that sport. What is that sport as well? Now, a city in China with the world's most skyscrapers.
Hong Kong.
And the answer? Hong Kong. Yeah, that's right. Most people in China speaks Mandarin or Putonghua. Okay, Mandarin. Because it's the official language in mainland. Ni hao in Mandarin means
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, how are you? Right, let's move on. China, just remember this, it's a developing country. The reason being, although it's second in the GDP league table, per capita is only this much. Right, so it's not a lot, isn't it? Yeah. And it's about league table is 83 global. It will continue to modernize, but not to westernize. So I think it could be a very hard lesson for politicians, for other people who want to lecture the Chinese about how to do things properly. The problem with the current China I share with you is because for I think about 200 years it was ruled by the Manchurians, or the Qing dynasty as we know it. Now it's for that 200 years that China became such, the sick man of Asia. Right? And Manchurians, we recognize them as one of the ethnic group as well. Manchurian, Tibetan, Chinese Han, as we are, and there's Mongolians and Muslims. Yeah? So we're all a part of China as well. Now, not to mention, China considers herself as a civilization state, which places a lot of importance on customs, family, social relations, and Confucian values, and not a nation state. So make sure you understand that distinction, that's really important. State-owned and state-patronized business. Now, from the beginning, when I start working with the businesses, it is very difficult if you don't understand, hey, you said you run the business, but on your business card, you're also the Secretary General, right, of the Communist Party. So I said, how you can square that? Yeah, originally, of course, they are always Secretary General, who runs the business. But once they become more commercialized, they may give themselves a title of managing director or manager, but they still keep that political position. State involvements in infrastructure, like the Three Gorges dams, which took 30 years because flooding was terrible in China. But they now have the Three Gorges, and the floods from the rivers have stopped. High-speed trains and other transport links. So if you haven't been to China, I would suggest that even just go onto the internet and look at it by YouTube or whatever channels. Then you can see the development is amazing. If you come back to London, especially central London, that frustrates me. I don't know if it frustrates you or not, because the streets are so narrow. It's for horse-drawn carriages. In London, I'm talking about. Yeah. Whereas
Try getting into a car park.
You mean in St. Patrick's one? But I think I've included a high-speed train station photograph for you to have a look at later on. But the transport links are so good, so up to date, faster than the Eurotunnel. Let me talk about some basics now. Saving and giving faces are important in social behavior. Now, that is nothing new. I think amongst your own culture as well, saving face is important. Now, the British, let me tell you, you may know it, you may not know it, is a nation who loves to save faces as well. Yeah? They will never say, I'm defeated. Yeah? They will say, on this occasion, we may have not one, but there's always a but, isn't it? That's face saving.
The glorious retreat. The glorious retreat.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah. Culture, respect for elders and rankings, that is very important. Individual behavior, patience, polite, and modest. We never self-boost that I can do that, I can do that, I can do that. That's not in our elements. very humbled. And sometimes, of course, people may say that, hey, you are withdrawing information or you are not being friendly, but it is not. You need to get to know the people before they perhaps relax a little bit. But that is in our nature. And my wife keep on telling me as well, look at that, at receptions, people will know, well, non-Chinese, let's put it this way, we know exactly where to go, where the camera is there, but not me. Well, if the camera wants to come to me, that is fine. If they want to interview me, that's fine. But I would not canvas myself to hog the limelight. Right? Greetings, how to do it properly, and that is very important. Some relationship first, business later. So you get to know the person, you understand what motivates them, how to talk business to them more or less. Conflict results win-lose versus win-win. To lose is to win or to lose in order to win. So it's a give and take situation. I suppose it's in nature for women as well, isn't it? You love a hard bargain, isn't it? You say that, no, cut it down. And then you always come back, isn't it? And try to negotiate a deal. Expressions, verbal and non-verbal. Now, obviously, being Chinese, I can share with you, we're not that good with the understanding non-verbal communication because of cultural differences. Say, for example, in schools, a head teacher sometimes would discipline a child because, a Chinese boy, because when speaking to him, he's not looking at the principal. Now you're all looking at me now, so that's fine. I won't discipline any of you. But for a young boy, his brother is more forthcoming. Actually, I dealt with the case. The brother is happy to look straight in the eyes, but the younger brother just looked down. Perhaps out of respect. No. But nevertheless, after the conversation, when the two boys left the room, the principal made a remark to me which I was totally horrified. Guess what he said? He said, well, the younger brother's a little bit shifty, isn't it? Try to avoid eye contact. Right, that is why in our courts here, our courts in London and around different parts of UK, the Department of Legal Services, they do have a publication to tell judges and magistrates to look out for body languages from communities of different backgrounds. Because where you're from, you have a different culture. Where you're from, we all have different cultures. But if you're sitting in judgment, being white, British, and looking at you and ask, have you done this? Are you guilty? And you look away from me, what do I put down?
Guilty.
Guilty. So be very careful with that, right? So if a Chinese business person is not looking at you, but it is out of respect, perhaps you need to go to better before there is eye to eye and all the other contexts. It's a huge place, third largest after Russia and Canada, right? And Tibet is somewhere here. I think it's in Lhasa. I started taking pills when I arrived in Beijing already because of the high altitude. Right? Of course, Hong Kong is here, as you know it, right? And Beijing should be somewhere here. That's right. Yeah, and Shanghai is here. So it is quite a huge place. Yeah. The furthest I've been would be this one, and nowhere else. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Now, starting a business, what type of business we're talking about? There's a whole range of opportunities. You can have a wholly owned foreign enterprise. Move on. You can have an equity joint venture. which means you put in a minimum of 25% from as a foreign investor. Right? You can set it up instead of running your own. You can set up a cooperative joint venture, joint contract, that is 50-50 of course, yes. And then you can have a representative office, no profit making. I'll give you an example of a representative office. It's a college, not St. Patrick, yes, yeah. But we plan to, isn't it? Right. It is a university, Sheffield Hallam University. It set up a representative office there, employ about 5-6 local staff. The staff do not touch a single renminbi in Beijing, but they help Sheffield Hallam University to recruit students to study in Sheffield. And of course, the students or the parents can transmit the funds directly to London or to Sheffield, to UK. And then the student will come over here to study. And as for the staff in Beijing, Sheffield will remit funds back there to pay for them. So there's no need for them to pay a single penny of Chinese tax as a result. You got that? Okay? That is something. Now, so what you need to do is do your homework, pick a location. You have looked at the map just now, it's huge. My advice would be go south first. Don't go to Beijing. Beijing is more political and established. But go to, I've taken delegations by Hong Kong. Yes, that's right. Not because I'm from Hong Kong, but in Hong Kong, you can meet up with some businesses who can actually be your agent in China. Now, if you say, for example, if you want to order something, whatever it may be, chairs, you cannot physically go back to China to examine it, to inspect, to ensure the quality is perfect, isn't it? But your agent in Hong Kong can. Right? And there's quite a lot of factories, productions, just taking place at the hinterlands, just beyond Hong Kong. Yeah, within half an hour's drive, no problem. Right? So that would be a very good starting point. Pick a location, choose one of the states. But of course, at the moment, there's nothing to stop you if you have a product or service you want to provide. There's nothing to stop you by doing it electronically now, isn't it? On the internet. Right? I do know of, let me see, how can I put it? Of a young man whose parents now migrated into London, quite well off, they don't need to work. But the son, their only son, studied arts in Chelsea Art School, graduate, and together with his girlfriend, both of them have gone back to China because he's an artist. He designed dresses. He commissioned a factory to produce it, and then he's not selling it back in. He's not coming back here to sell it or run a shop in wherever. He just do it online. Okay? That's something which can easily done. So you source your products in China, and then you sell it. Of course, not just UK, but globally. And but you must have a good business plan and find out suitable links. As I said, Hong Kong would be a good link. And if you go to places like Shenzhen and Guangzhou, which are south, they're quite well developed business context there, which are fluent in the language. And there are, I say in Guangzhou, which I've been, there is actually attached to the British Council there, similar to a British Chamber of Commerce. These are all English gentlemen who have got business in China and who have settled in China. And the reason being, they all have Chinese wives. A good reason to stay, isn't it? But they're very helpful. Right? If you say, right, I can't be bothered to, well, they don't learn the language as well. Some of them may, yeah, but they're fully settled there. And just go to the Council General there, or, well, in my case, of course, I don't need to go through the Council General, the British Council General. All I did is, if I take delegations to whatever city, I just approach the government there, and through the government, their local chamber. Say, for example, if Shenzhen is Shenzhen Chamber, if it is Beijing, it's Beijing Chamber. And I will, before I take the delegates to even Beijing, I will say that you do shirts, you do ties, you do education, you do, I don't know, double glazing, you do something else. And the local chamber, which is semi-official, will have at least 2 of your equivalent waiting for you in the meeting. That saves you a lot of money and time and energy, isn't it? Right? And usually, for a trade mission, on arrival the first day, I was surprised when I took a delegation to Beijing. I was tired, I needed rest after a long flight. And all the young chaps, they were already ready to go out. I said, where are you going? Shopping first. And they know exactly which street in Beijing they can buy, well, not the real stuff, Adidas boots, Adidas shoes, everything. And then, what I organized for them is the next day to meet up with their counterparts, as I just mentioned. So remember, the first day you fly out, you arrive on the second day, right? And you have a half day's rest. So the third day, you meet up with businesses. Maybe 2, maybe 3, it doesn't matter. And then the fourth day, you actually visit the office, the business premises, the factories. And the 5th day, talking about what you want to order, what items you want to help them to export, things like that. So by the 5th day, you're done. The 6th day you come back. A week is more than enough. If you haven't signed up anything by the 4th day, right, put it down to experience. Yeah, because you got the contacts. You will go back, you will make contact. Right. But most importantly, if you have designed something, nowadays China as intellectual property directorate is working in full swing now. So you can have your trademark, your intellectual property registered there as well. But of course, you can register it here as well. Yeah? To know how to do it, I don't need to share with you. Right? It's quite straightforward. Yeah? Now, last but not least, China Bank for hiring staff. There are so many banks now in London from China. Not just Bank of China, but commercial bank and all sort of banks. And there's all sort of insurance companies as well. So you don't need to be concerned that, oh, I don't know, should I go to Barclays, should I go to NatWest, should I go to HSBC? You can, yeah, but it's nothing to beat a local, isn't it? because the transfer of funds will be much quicker. Thank you. Right. You need to understand China as a marketplace. If you've got something you want to sell there, know your customer base. E-business is booming in China. Especially, it just gone past it, isn't it? Black Friday is in UK. I don't know, is it in America as well?
American office is like,
In America, Black Friday.
Okay. In China, it's not. It's the 11th of November. Why 11th of November? Because it's 1111. That's the significance of 11th of November to Chinese. Because that means you have nothing. So you use that date to buy whatever you want. So this, yes.
What do you mean you have nothing?
Eat. That means, yeah, just 1111. That means if you,
Something.
yeah, it's just straight line. You've done nothing, isn't it? Yeah, you stand, yeah, in a straight line. So to use that as a symbol, that the Chinese word is guangguan. Guangguan means I got nothing. I have no luggage, not so as ever. Otherwise you won't be standing straight, isn't it? You will be this. This is not 1-1, isn't it? Right? So 11-11, actually they kill off a lot of high street shops as a result of that, because they do billions and billions of business in one day. Now, clarify about policies, laws and standards regulation. Of course, you don't want either to export or import something which you can't do. Like, I can tell you what you can't import. There are quite a lot of food products you can't, because of different standards. Of course, drugs you can't, firearms you can't, things like that. Now, okay, find a business link, partner and location. I've mentioned that briefly just now, isn't it? Yeah. Diversity of products and services. So I would say that if you have a product in mind, you need to know what's the competition, isn't it? You need to know what's the market if you've got a product. And understand the language and culture, that is good, yeah. Source, you can look at China-Britain Business Council. Yeah, the website is there. And of course, the Department of International Trade. Now, what happened is, they used to call themselves UK Trade and Investment, but it's now Department of International Trade. I suppose if you put down UKTI, Trade and Investment, you can still get to the website. And you can see the whole range of opportunities, from education to healthcare to everything. Now, the 6 P's, principles of doing business in the East. You need to plan, that goes without saying. Persevere, just like what I've said just now. If you don't succeed in the first visit, go again. Patience, try again. Personal relationship, that is quite important. For perfection, learn from your mistakes. And prevention. Right? So you need to be aware that there are groups, right? But if you do your due diligence well, then you can prevent it. Not to mention, if you are going there with recommendation, then you can avoid the last bit, isn't it? Yeah. And an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. That's the saying. Let's move on. Sectors. I won't go through all of this, but I mentioned quite a lot of it already. International school, that's the craze. Harold is over there, do you know that? Eaton is about to go there as well. Gosh. So next time, you will meet a lot of young Chinese speaking with posh accents, and you know why. Healthcare and life sciences, they need that. Healthcare especially, looking after older people, because they still have a paid health service. It's not national health services, so they try to improve it. Tech and digital, of course. Yeah. But just be careful with the intellectual property in that respect. Financial and professional services, UK export a lot of that. All the KPMGs, all the Deloitte, everyone have offices in China. Engineering, manufacturing, transport, agricultural, food and drink. Now, it's not food. China, I don't know if you know that, but because there's a baby boom now, and long before that, even for the last 10 years, you will see a lot of Chinese in your supermarket buying up powder milk, isn't it? Because they don't trust food safety in China. So they're buying it, they're sending it back to China. So I don't know why they cannot produce some safe powder milk powder rather, in China. Education and innovation, oh yes, talking about drink. A few years ago, I was approached by someone who runs a beer manufacturing in China. And he came to me, guess what he wants? He wants to buy the widget that you put in a beer can. Yeah, for those who may not drink yet, it is because once you pull it, the widget will have some pressure coming out and it will have all the fizzles for the beer. They want it. So I took him, guess what, where? To Scotland. Because Guinness and a lot of Guinness factory, the factories of course produce Guinness, but at the same time they just change the ingredients. They can produce Foster, they can produce any beer in the same factory with the same machine, right? And they can, other machine they can produce whiskey as well. So that's the widget. It's a tiny little thing. Yeah, of course it has got intellectual property, as well. So they're looking for everything and anything. Education and innovation, creative, cultural industry and sports. Do you know Chinese are buying football clubs here? Right. And only yesterday or the day before, I met up with some delegations from China. They want to create the right environment locally there to train young people to learn football. Because China has the ambition of getting the hands on the World Cup in 2040 maybe, I don't know.
Long way to go.
Long way to go.
Yes.
Yeah. But starting young, instead of buying, footballers from all over. Right, let's move on. Now, there are, besides myself, of course, quite a lot of Chinese presence in the UK. The students from China, 150,000. Once business parks in Royal Docks, we heard the news recently, isn't it? There's a huge investment there, 10 billion investment. Yeah, that's just opposite the city airport. That's the presence as well. Wanda, what does Wanda invest? Have you heard of this company? You should have a look. Battersea Park, 9Ms, where the new US embassy will be somewhere there. And they even built an underground station there. And Odeon is all Wanda now. Okay. Li Ka-shing, who is Li Ka-shing? Never heard of him?
Oh my!
He owns 3G, O2, Morgan Stanley, and 28% of British Rail. And he's Chinese in Hong Kong. Yeah, he's in his late 60s, 70s must be now. Yeah. 3G, recent problem, isn't it? And it's got millions of customers here. By the way, there are some others, I haven't put it here. Philisto, the port, container port, Ikashin. The Thames port, Likashin. Not Boots, but the other ones, Superdrug, Likashin. We used to, at one time in London, have yellow bus, isn't it? Likashin.
Is that where the phrase comes from?
Huh?
Kashin?
Okay, let's move on. I think we've got some photos. Now, this is the Wuhan high-speed train station I've been. Average speed 200 kilometers per hour. Eurostar only 140 to 160. And it can go even further up to 300. Right? Look at that. Some of the cities, right? I can tell you, this one is Shanghai. But will you see this building now? You won't, because it's all built up there. This is the television tower. Yeah? Amazing, isn't it? Now, can you see, this is circa 14th century, Ming Dynasty. Right? What are these people playing? Can you see? Football. Talking about the UK team, British team. I don't know when football started to become a national sport in UK, right? But I think the Chinese, from this painting we can see, want to say, we actually have, of course it's not made of leather, it's made of rattan. You know rattan? Yeah, where you make furniture with as well. Thank you. Right, talking about who discovered America now. In the 15th century, Chen He, yeah, who worked with the emperor, he traveled to Africa. And Christopher Columbus, we all know, 87 years later, traveled only nearly half of the distance to America. And so Chen He actually found out quite a lot of about the African continent as well. But instead, that's the distinct differences between Chinese mentality and perhaps European and later we call American mentality. China never colonized. Never. Right? Unlike the Spanish, I hope I'm not offending anyone in this room, unlike the Portuguese, even the Italians and other European countries.
The British.
And the British.
States.
The British. And look at Christopher Columbus' ship and Chen He. There's no comparison, isn't it? So don't talk to Chinese about civilization, right? Because the country represents civilization. When you talk about, but the West, I've been challenged, I just let you know, by a colleague of mine some years ago now, pointing at me saying, Thomas, tell me what the Chinese has done for humankind recently.
Recent.
Yeah, that's the operative word.
Yes.
Try to upset me, isn't it? So I said, Ted, I was looking at him at the time. There are some colleagues around as well. Without the Chinese, you will be sitting here totally naked. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Shirt, ties, socks, underwear, shoes. So guess what? He reached out his hands, friends. And everyone around him just laughed. Right? Now, English words borrowed from the Chinese. Let's see if you can guess it. Brainwashing. That's a Chinese word, okay?
What, literally?
Yeah.
Brainwashing?
Brainwashing.
What does it mean?
Sino.
Oh, so I was not saying Chinese.
Sino.
Okay.
Pronounce it?
Side.
The second one.
Like,
Bak chon. Have you tried to buy bak choy in your market?
Pet shops.
Bak choy, yeah, the white cabbage. You know, you love it. I'm sure you love it, isn't it? Ketchup.
Really?
Yep. Some more. Chow.
China.
Yes, the British can't live without, isn't it? China. China, let me tell you, actually, it's a translated word. It actually relates to the clay that is produced in a very special region of China. So when someone, some years ago now, of course, not this century, but a few centuries ago, asked the Chinese, when they have this beautiful porcelain, he said, "What is that?" And he took one look at it, yeah, the mark there. He said, "Oh, China actually means like, what's it called? New home." Yeah, it's the location where you find the clay to make this, rather than it's a play or what it is. Lychee, I'm sure you heard of this one. I did, yeah. No seed. Yeah,
What is in China then?
yeah.
How do you say China? Long time no see.
好久不見。好久不見。Yeah, that means long time no see.
Ping pong.
Ping pong, as table tennis, as you say, yeah. Mandarin. Now, Mandarin has got a very good history, let me tell you. We call our public civil servants Mandarin, isn't it? The
It was
senior.
an official.
The examination system they created by Confucius thousands and thousands of years ago. They still have 6 levels of examinations. Now, the British one, the civil service has changed a little bit. But if you know, the French civil service still use the same 6 levels of promotion for the civil servants. Right? So that's why they're called Mandarin. Typhoon. You know the wind?
Yes.
Yeah, that blow your head off. Yeah. That's typhoon. Yeah. You don't
I
want
thought this is Chinese typhoon.
it. Nah.
Sounds like it.
So this is the last one now. If you want to feel the future, taste the future, and be the future, try China. Thank you very much.
Thank you.